What is up, everybody? It is your boy Drift. I am back with Shinobi. We are back for the Overnights podcast. We're going to go ahead and hop into another episode today for y'all. In today's episode, we're talking more about our collection stuff that we didn't get to finish on the trip video. So, this is pretty much like a part two to that, I guess. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know that we'll be coming out with more podcasts in the future. So, make sure you guys put like, comment, subscribe, turn on bell notifications, all that good stuff. If you guys want to watch me individually, make sure you guys check out my Twitch. I'm going to go ahead and let Shinobi do his intro, and then we're going to go ahead and hop into the topics for today.
What's up, y'all? Shinobi Radixan. I make videos, put them on YouTube, sometimes dabble in music.
Let's go. Let's go. Make sure you guys check out each of our last videos and or streams. Everything will be in the link in the description below. And for today's topic, like I said, we're talking about collections. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about our favorite items per collection, stuff we're on the hunt for, stuff we're looking for. And then for the last topic, we are going to be talking about something that we want to or could collect if we wanted to start something new or we had the money to, stuff like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and just give you guys details. I will have pictures of everything that we're talking about at the end if we end up wanting to upload pictures for the collection so you guys to see. Everything will be at the end of the video, just like the trip video. So let's go ahead and hop into our favorite items per collection. This is kind of cool because we actually don't know what each of us collect. In a way, we know like the base stuff, but there might be something more that you guys don't know. So we'll go ahead and hop into it. And if you want to go ahead and start, you can.
I guess I'll start with the stuff that I don't really collect anymore, but like I used to. It's really only just one thing, which is Pokemon cards. Um, and this one is like I have to do an honorable mention just because of like how it happened. But my honorable mention is the Giratina from Lost Origins. It was literally the first booster box that I had bought. The second pack in, I had pulled it. And that I was like, this is absolutely insane because the price for that booster box alone is disgusting. I can't even imagine what it is now, especially with the price of that individual card going up. Plus the artist, I can't remember his name, is like a really sought after artist. He does all like the I don't want to say like surrealist because I don't think that's the word for it, but like he does the Magikarp for 151, all those like drawn like painting looking cards. Those are him. Um, but I pulled it and then I sent it out to grade and it came back at 10, dog. That is insane. Just the sheer amount of luck, not only to just pull the card, but like have it be from the first purchase of like anything related to Lost Origins, being a 10, crazy. That actually paid for my PC. That's why it's an honorable mention. I had to let it go. You know what I mean? Priorities, it sucks. You know, maybe one day I'll get it back. Um, but I guess silver lining too, I like stopped collecting because like I want to do collect um, Japanese cards now, but it's not like a super like big priority for me anymore. But my actual like favorite one that I like still have, it's a combo. It's the promos from the Pikachu stamp box from 2002, I believe. For those that aren't familiar with it, it's the Pikachu on the back of the geisha, and then it comes with a Cramorant one where it's that same kind of style, but they're both the promos. I love the art style for these. I don't think I'll ever sell them. They're just they're they're too sick to sell. You know what I mean? I would like to get them uh, graded, probably in tag, just for the looks. But I love these two cards. They're so good. I actually prefer the Cramorant one over the Pikachu one, just because there's a lot more going on. For those that aren't familiar with it, it's like I think three of them. Yeah, three of them, and they're like diving down. There's a moon in the background. They're diving into the clouds. It's a really really sick card. But those would be my favorites. I don't know about your favorite because I know you collect Pokemon cards.
Yeah, I also collect Pokemon cards. That's probably the first thing that I collect or that I'm talking about because I collect three things mainly, and I stopped doing other things before just because I kind of dabble in like a little bit of stuff, but most of the time I stick to these three things now. But those three things are obviously the first one would happen to Pokemon cards. Yeah, I still collect Pokemon cards. A little bit slower now because the market is very volatile right now. It's super expensive,
Yeah, that too.
and a lot of the cards I want to get are just like super expensive. So um, it's here and there when I buy cards because most of the time I go to buy cards, it's always over $100 at this point now, which is a lot. And
Hmm.
I gotta spread it out because it's just we broke out here. But yeah, I don't have a specific card. I think for me right now, my favorite thing in my collection, I would say, besides like me collecting my favorite Pokemon, as in like I do a binder for just my favorite Pokemon, like Lucario, Gardevoir, etc. But I think my favorite one out of all the sets is having all of the Hidden Fates, at least the big shiny Volts. I have the whole collection. I think when you see all of them
Yeah.
together, from the Charizard to the Umbreon to the Espeon, I just think those are some of my favorite sets because Hidden Fate shiny cards, just the all white background with the shiny Pokemon on them is so fire. I think the shinies that they picked are super underrated and they pop out on those white backgrounds, like the Charizard, like I said, like the Umbreon, the Sylveon, Rayquaza, Lycanroc. I think those shinies that they picked for that collection. Also, it has my favorite Pokemon in it, Lucario and Gardevoir. But
Yeah, yeah.
I just think they stick out on the white so good, and yeah, those would probably be my favorite ones. Out of that, if I had to pick like just like a singular card, I think it'll be one of my Japanese from Lucario cards. I think those are sick. I'll make sure I have the pictures of all this stuff at the end for you guys. Like I said, I do heavily collect Pokemon cards. I think I have about like 300, 400 cards. If you look on my collector app, I think I'm close to like 20 grand. And
That's insane.
yeah, I think I'm close to 20 grand when it comes to how much my whole collection is worth. No,
Do you
no,
do you do is it just like raws or do you do slabs too? Because I don't think you've like talked about slabs, but
no, I'm not really a big like slab person. I have some tens and some cards that I like, but like I don't go out of my way to get them. I just like kind of like
yeah,
they
yeah.
were just like I want to say like impulsive buys, but they were like I just see them there and I actually like was like, I might get some. I don't collect a lot of slabs. No, I'm more of a raw person. And what I was gonna say about the 20K is it's also like I think people see that big number and they think that I've spent that much on cards. I also like technically have spent money on cards, but a lot of these cards, if you understand the Pokemon market, is like the mid-era and vintage cards are just a lot of money now. So like when we were like kids, like the 2015, 2013, 2012, that era of mid-era cards are all just really expensive now, like the X and Y, black and white,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And for me, I just had a lot of those cards when I was younger, buying the packs for decent price, like either a booster box for like or ETB, I mean, for like $50 or like a pack here and there. And I just pulled these cards, and I've just kept them in mint condition until I've grown up to be the age that I am now. And now it's just like all those vintage stuff is highly wanted. So before the card I had was probably like $20, $30. Now the card could be $400 or $500 if you look at some of them, especially like the Team Plasma cards that I have, which I bought some of those, but I also had one from when I was younger. So it's just like things like that, or the black and white full arts. A lot of them were, like I said, 40, $50 a couple years ago, and now I can, look at those cards and they're probably like two, $300 now, especially like the more popular Pokemon. So it's kind of crazy to see that a lot of my collection is also from when I was younger, and I'm just glad that I didn't just destroy them like most kids do with their cards.
Yeah, stuff like that is crazy. I never really grew up collecting Pokemon. I remember like very like few memories of like actually having Pokemon cards, but I don't know if that was just because like other kids would like bring them to school, right? And then we just like look at them. Yu-Gi-Oh was like a big one. And I'm so pissed because I remember having like literally a tote full of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I can't find them. And I know some of them are worth like bank because Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic are like one of those two where like very rarely is there a really expensive card, but when it's actually got some value, it's like a bag. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh is also starting to be up there now, I think too. Yu-Gi-Oh would be something that I wanted to get into that I watched the show. I just never got into too, but I wouldn't say it's on my list of like what I'm hunting or anything or what I would like to collect. But I think there's a part of me that maybe would want to do it too.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm pissed about because I was really into the Crown Zenith set. I love that set. It's such a good set. It's probably like in my top three. Um, and I remember buying four of the Pokemon Center ETBs, and I
Mm.
was like, maybe I should like save one or not. The impulses just took over, and I ripped all of the packs. I didn't care. I pulled some heat. I put two of the gold Palkia ones. I pulled the Dialga and then the Arceus. I'm just missing the Giratina. But I
Same.
went to LA. I want to say like 2 years ago is when I saw it. It was me and Miggy. We walked into just like a random little shop. They had the Pokemon Center ETB for $180, bro. Insane. I can only imagine what it costs now. But I was like, I should have at least saved one, because literally just that one, it would have like got my money back on all those ETBs. It's ridiculous the way the market just fluctuates like that.
Yeah, the market is crazy. Like I said, it goes up and down so much that it's hard to keep track of. That's why I said it's super hard to collect Pokemon cards. At this point, I just get them when I have the extra money, or like I just see something that's kind of affordable from something I watch on like a TikTok stream or just at shops and stuff. I still go looking just to go look sometimes, but it's hard to, like I said, to want to spend money on cards because it's super expensive. Um,
No, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, by the way, before we go on to the next thing I collect, if you guys were wondering why I had a guesstimate of how much money my collection is worth, I use an app called Collector. I'm gonna try to give you guys some collectible apps for collectors out there that want to try to keep track of their cards. I know a lot of people do like, Excel sheets or spreadsheets the old traditional way, but if you guys want something that can be logged into on your computer or mobile, it's called the Collector app. I'll have it spelled out in the link or in the description below. I'll put a link for something in the description. But pretty much, you guys just download the app. You guys create a profile. Um, it's free, all completely free. Nothing have to be paid for. You can pay for a better subscription service that adds extra benefits that I don't know what it does, but it is free. Like I said, you make the profile, and then when you want to add cards to your collection, um, you pretty much just type in the Pokemon name if you want to look for it that way and match the picture, or if you guys know how to read the set numbers on the bottom right of the cards, you just look up the set number, put the Pokemon's name in there, add it to your collection, and you kind of have to know the difference between like a reverse hollow, etc. The only negative thing about this app, which was what I was gonna say, besides me having all these cards from back then, is that it doesn't keep track of mild played or light played or damaged. You have a base number, which is usually always the near mint number, so your card may actually not be worth full price if it's not the condition matched, which you should know that anyways. Or if you don't, just look up how to know it. Most of the time, it's super easy to tell the difference between those kind of things. But either way, it gives you guys a base number of the recent solds of near mint prices. And also, let me tell you guys that collector is usually not as accurate as the market is because they do a base amount of sales off of like eBay and stuff like that. They don't just go off of they don't just follow TCG Player, which is the most highly used source for prices. They just kind of mix all of them together and give you like a general value from all these websites. So it's close to what the card could be worth, but just always look up the price on TCG Player if you guys want to know your exact price. So this is just like a guesstimate of how your collection should be calculated towards. And like I said, all of them are near mint. So just remember that. The next thing I collect, I don't know if you have any more things. I have two more things, but the next thing that I have really collect, I don't really collect these at all no more unless it's something I really need no more, and that is Funko Pops. I have a whole custom shelf in my room for Funko Pops, which I'll have pictures in at the end of the pod. But yeah, I have a lot of pops. I collected a lot of not full sets, but just a lot of certain stuff. I collect a lot of the DC Robin pops, a lot of Harley Quinn pops. I have a majority of the Naruto pops that aren't the exclusive ones. I have some exclusive ones for the characters I like, but not all of them. And then after that, I just do like tiny collections of like Ninja Turtles and some anime ones like Jujutsu Kaisen or some Demon Slayer ones, Haikyuu stuff like that. I have around. I'm gonna give you guys another good app. The Funko app is a really good app to track your collection and/or wish list. You do the same thing, but theirs is a little easier because at the bottom of your Funko boxes, if it's not covered by a sticker, you usually have a barcode. If you just scan that barcode on the scan feature on the app, it'll automatically show you a picture of the pop, and then you just put add to collection, and it gives you Um, a way to track your collection so you don't buy doubles. It shows you the price of your collection in this one as well. This one only goes off eBay, so I have no idea how accurate that is because it will say that some pops are super expensive, but then if you find them in the stores, they're like retail price. So I don't know how it goes because I don't know how to tell the rarity of a pop unless it's like an exclusive chase and or anime convention or San Diego Comic Con pop. Those are usually the only ones I know that are always accurate on price. But like the ones you find in the store after they go to the stores, I don't know how to calculate very well. I don't have knowledge to that at all. But I have around 245 pops. I think I don't have all of them up.
God damn.
Yeah, I don't have all of them uploaded into this app. I think it's been a while since I uploaded some, so that might be a little short. Um, but like I said, I completely don't really collect them no more. I think these are just something else that I've just got over time as gifts and or just bought them here and there when I go out. And my total value for that is like 7,000, which I do have a couple of expensive ones.
Insane.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't know how the price works on this one. I don't know if that's accurate or not. But yeah, I collect, like I said, those pops I collect. If I had to pick my favorite one, I have two favorite ones actually, and they're just regular pops, but they're more than regular because both of them were actually gifted to me as gifts from my brother. Shout out my brother. I have a Azula pop that is signed by the voice actress from the anime, which is super sick.
Hell yeah.
Um, and then I have another one of my favorite Naruto characters, which in the show is my favorite one is Itachi, but this is close to second or third favorite character, which is Obito, another Uchiha. They also got me that signed by the actor from the show. So I pretty much have that one, and I have a few other signed ones now. I have a Nezuko signed one from the voice actress, but those two specifically are just my favorite ones in my set: the Azula and the Obito voice signed by the actors. I think it's super sick. Finding the bigger anime pops like that are harder to get if you don't go to convention or anything. So just to have the Obito one is super sick. Those are easily my two favorite pops from my collection.
For sure. I don't collect pops anymore. I just kind of like grew out of it. I upgraded the figures. But yeah, they just. I tend to have them in the box, and I mean that's kind of how they're designed to, right? Because they have like the actual window, so you can like see them and preserve them. But I actually like taking like stuff out of the box and having it displayed, and I feel like that's a sin in the Funko Pop community. So I kind of just like stop. But there are some sick ones out there. I like the ones that have the either like the movie or the video game as the backdrop, and then it has like the Funko Pop. Those are pretty sick. Um, but
Yeah, the backdrop ones,
like
the new ones are sick.
yeah, figures I did mention them, but I don't like really like collect them. It's just kind of like ones that like pique my interest. I'll go ahead and pick them up. Something that I do collect, which I don't know. It might be a little like weird or just like not super common, but keychains. I love keychains. I I don't know where I got like the fascination for it, but I like swapping them out, you know what I mean? Matching with the fit, you know what I mean? A little like extra accent color or whatever. And it's any kind of keychains. I do like the plushy keychains. I have like the Apex has dropped a couple of Nessie ones, so I have think it's like a space one. I think that's what they labeled it. It's purple, so of course I had to get it. And then there's a chef one, super sick. But recently, when I went to Japan, which is why we're doing this episode, is because there's a plethora of stores in Japan with just a bunch of random stuff that you can like pick up and start collecting. But there's a lot of gachas that are keychains. I got this one from a Taco Bell. It's so sick. I'll send you a picture of it later. I don't know if it's like an idol group or something, but it was just so random. It's just a bunch of like idol girls, and then there's one where it's like a jester, and it's like I'm assuming like their manager or something, and they're on like different playing cards, like the queen, the joker, or whatever. Um, but I love that one. It's probably not my favorite one out of all the keychains that I have. My favorite would probably have to be one of the Miku raincoats. It's from a blind box. And I'll send you a picture of the. I think I still have the box. If not, I can find it. I'm not super into blind boxes. It's not my thing. I feel like the Labubu. That's what started like the whole like obsession with blind boxes and chasing stuff like that. But if it's Miku, I gotta pick it up. And they're cute. Um, I think my favorite one is the panda one. I don't have that one, but the second favorite would have to be the frog. I do have that one, so that one would have to be my favorite. And they're interchangeable. Like you could take off the little raincoats that she's got and then put them on the different ones. And all the like different ones, it's not just the raincoat that's different. Her facial expression is different, so it just adds a little bit extra. But yeah, I don't think it's pretty common for people to collect keychains, but I'm a sucker for them. I love them.
Yeah, I think those are. I think that's not like a bad thing to collect or like not a niche. I don't know if you know like the embroidered keychains, like the long, like kind of like slab looking ones where they have like the anime eyes on them and they're like sewed on the
Oh yeah,
sides.
like the kind of like the shit, what is it called? I'm pretty sure they're called like air tags, like the ones that you would usually see on like bomber jackets. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like long, kind of like
Yeah,
a
yeah. I have a
yeah.
couple of those. I have a
I
couple of
yeah, I have
those.
a couple of those too. I think those are very popular to collect. I know a lot of people do like the anime ones where it's like one side is the eyes, one side is them, or like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Pokemon ones are like one side is Charizard, the other side is shiny Charizard, or like stuff like that. I think those are super popular keychains to collect. I have a few of those. But I think before we switch subject and I go to my next actual thing I collect, I do have like you. I stopped doing Funko Pops to collect two bigger statues. I have some collectible statues like the Horizon statue from the collector's box. I have an Assassin's Creed one. I really really love the Batman animated series boxes because obviously the Batman animated series, like the graphics of the characters were like super sick. I have one. It's kind of expensive. It is Harley sitting on Batman tied up. I have that one. I have a Nightwing one, and then I have another one where of Joker. They're super sick. They're just hard to find, especially because the animated series stuff is super, you know, prioritized as like the best Batman project. So it's super hard to
Yeah.
find things revolving around that show specifically. But when I do, I love collecting those. Like I said, I don't collect those as much as I collect pops, and I don't collect pops as much at all anymore unless it's something new that's coming out. But yeah. So my last thing I collect is comics. I do have a lot of comics. Now, for those of you who collect comics, um, like I said, for the last two things I've gave you guys a way to track comics. I specifically right now don't really have an app or anything to do to track my comics, so I kind of just sometimes if I accidentally buy a double one, I just either give them to my wife and or give them to my brother or something because I end up buying doubles of them. But I do have a lot. I don't know how many I have off the top of my head. I know I have like a whole box full of comics that you can buy at the comic store, and then I have like maybe like half of another one going. And for those of you wondering, I do read the comics like here and there. I'm not gonna say I'm like a hardcore enthusiast where I read, the very first one of that line all the way to the very last one of that line. I read them when I can. Most of my comic knowledge just comes from like just watching videos or like informational things or just watching. I talk more about like the animated side more than I do the comic side. I do read comics, like I said, ones I have, but I mostly collect comics. I guess this is not a weird thing. I used to think it was a weird thing at first, but talking to people at the comic store is actually a very common thing. I like to collect comics for the covers, to display the covers. I built a little display thing myself with some um, shelves you can buy on Amazon. They're super cheap, clear shelves that I also use to display other stuff. I started using them to display comic covers because I want a wall just to display like comic covers and some media stuff. So, yeah, I have a few of those. My favorite ones in my collection right now, besides like obviously my favorite DC ones, are actually a collab between Ninja Turtles and Naruto. I am currently am hunt. That is
Hell
one that
yeah.
I am reading and hunting all of the ones that are out when they come out. I think they're still printing them, but the cover comics for those are super sick. I really really love the aesthetic of the Ninja Turtles and Naruto. It makes sense when they hop from world to world. Like sometimes, the Ninja Turtles are in like the Naruto verse, and then sometimes you got to see the Naruto characters in New York. So that was kind of cool to see them, get along and be in the same universe. Two of my favorite things mixed. When it comes to comics, like I said, I also don't just do Batman. I love a variety of things. I like, some Marvel, mostly X-Men stuff. Won't really do a lot past X-Men. A lot of the X-Men characters like Magic, Psylocke, things like that. I'm not a big Marvel guy, but lately I've been doing some Power Ranger comics, some TMNT comics, and I have some that I have in the list next for things we want to collect in the future. So I'll save that. But yeah, I do a wide variety of comic stuff revolved to culture, things I watch on shows and movies, and just media that I like. So, and I love collecting them for the covers.
Yeah, I'm lame and I collect. Well, I don't really collect comics, but every now and then there'll be like a series or something that I like, and I just buy them for the covers. I plan to read them, but I'm one of those people where like I can't wait like every month or like every week for one to drop and then like catch up on it. I want to read it from start to finish right then and there. Um, but the a more recent comic that I'm like picking up is the Absolute Batman um, storyline. I love like weird shit like that. The I think it's issue 15 where they introduce Absolute Joker. I love that design. I that because they have like different covers for it. I think it's like on average, I think it's like 6 covers, maybe 8 covers. Um, so I'll pick like my favorite one, right, and then just get that one. The one where he's just like squatting and crouched down, and you can see like the side profile of him. It's so sick. It's so weird. I love it. I love it when they just like take the concept of something and then just completely like 180 it and then go crazy with it. But Absolute Batman is one of those series. The Detective Comics is one that I also collect. That one I do like actually try to actively uh, get because I'm pretty sure that one is completely done. Like no more issues are coming out. It's one of the older ones, but I like that Batman. I prefer the Batman that's more on like the actual like detective side and does like all the criminology and the investigating stuff. I just think it adds like more character to him. But that would be another one that I collect, and then the only other one that I really collect is the Transformer comics. I just like the art. Yeah, I mean, so and a little bit of nostalgia because with Transformers. So every now and then I'll kind of look for that one, but really the only one that I actively try and get is the Detective Series one. Um, Aside from that, I don't really think there's like one specific like either issue that I'm trying to look for or like actual series. I do like the Godzilla versus whatever because they've done some like crazy stuff. There's Godzilla versus Batman, Godzilla versus Superman, Godzilla versus the Avengers, like crazy stuff.
Yeah, those
Um,
collabs are fire.
I, yeah, I love when they do just like crazy shit like that. Um, and it's not or at least I don't think it's a comic, but like Batman versus the Turtles, the TMNT. I think that was just like a movie. But whenever they do like crazy shit like that, I love it. But my other thing that I guess you can call it a collection. I don't know if you would call it a collection. Um, but concert shirts. I go to a lot of concerts and I always have to pick some merch up. You know what I mean? I gotta support the artist. Uh, but the specific shirts that I like are the ones with actual dates on the back. If it's just a shirt that has like the tour name, right? And then like the graphic or whatever, that's cool. I'll still pick it up. But like my actual favorite ones are the ones with the tour dates on the back. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that I like gravitated towards. I guess I consider it a collection because like after they're worn out, because I mean some of these we ain't gonna lie, some of these are pretty shit quality.
Yeah,
But you just buy them because yeah, I mean in the moment kind of thing, and you want the memory, whatever. So I that's why I classified it as a collection because I don't throw mine out. I just like keep them, and then either like wear them around the house, go to sleep. If they're really worn out, I just like keep them for the memory. Like for example, I still have the Everybody tour shirt, and that was from like years ago. That one's completely worn out, and like the graphics like starting to chip and stuff. So that
yeah.
one's just like retired. That one I just have it to to have for the memories. But yeah, every single concert that I go to, every single festival, every single event, I try to pick up a shirt, even if it's somebody that I've seen like before. I can't tell you how many Baby Metal shirts I have. I just I don't know. It's one of those things.
Yeah.
My favorite piece, I thought about this a little bit and I couldn't like really decide. So it's really a toss up. You know what I mean? Like ask me any day and then I'll be fine with like saying either answer. And that would be the Yukichiba shirt that I have or the Project Voltage shirt that I have. Project Voltage, talked about it a little bit, but it was the concert with Hatsune Miku and Pokemon. I just think that's like a sick ass collab. And the shirt
Yeah,
is
for
really
sure.
clean. The front is just the text, Project Voltage, and then the back is the full graphic of the promotional art. It's super clean. It's one of those things that it's like a once in a lifetime kind of concert. The Yukichiba one, I just like it because it's like very it was a very intimate venue. It was at the Roxy, so it wasn't a lot of people. I think max capacity was like 500. So saying that I have one of those shirts out of the 500 people that went, out of all the people that listen to Yuki Chiba, it's pretty sick. You know what I mean? It's kind of like one of those things where like if you were to ever meet the person and then you let them know like, yo, your music means a lot to me, or like I've been uh following you through your journey, your musical career, and then like you pull out that piece and they're like, oh shit, they really about it. They was really there from like the beginning, like that kind of thing. That's probably like the most I don't know what underground or like the most like smallest concert. I don't know what you would call it, but it's like the intro to like him getting like really big venues. At least over here, I know in Japan he'd be going crazy and he'd be getting like really big stages and stuff. Um, but yeah, those either one of those two, those would be like my favorite piece. I don't know if you have another collectible. I have like one other one.
No, I don't have one I actively collect. I think I could talk about like stuff like you talking about like with the blind boxes. I think getting popular. I recently seen that they opened a bunch of pop marts here in Arizona, which is like like the bougie pop. I mean the bougie blind boxes. I guess you would say like they have like the most like famous ones. Like they're the most popular ones.
Yeah.
I recently started the Akatsuki box where I was trying to see if I can get all the Akatsuki ones, and I did that's it. That's pretty much it. I want to start getting more of those, so I'll probably get more of those. And then you mentioned the Godzilla comics. I actually have a collab for that. I have the Power Rangers versus Godzilla ones, so
Hell yeah.
that's a really sick shout. But yeah, go ahead and hop into your next one before we hop into the next thing.
Yeah. This one, I don't know if it's cheating, but I like put everything all into one. It's just like physical media. And I mean like from music, DVDs, games, like movies. I put it all into one because it's like it's kind of all the same thing. But yeah, I feel like it's one of those things that was just lost with time, but shouldn't have because a lot of love goes into some of these, especially like with the artwork, for like the vinyls and stuff. We'll go in like different sections. So for music, vinyls, I collect those. I collect cassettes, CDs. I collect it all, man. Um, my favorite cassette would probably have to be. It's between the 25th anniversary cassette for Food by MF Doom. I talked about that album a little bit when we were listing off like our favorite albums and stuff. Very good album. Go listen to it if you still haven't. It's either that one or Juice by Juice Newton, which is like completely out of left field because in that same episode I talked about like not really being into country, but with cassettes I don't really go for like modern music. Every now and then there'll be an album where I like, okay, this would sound pretty good on cassette, so I'll pick it up. But what I like to do is just going into like any kind of like record store, just going through like the clearance. section or like the reduced price section, there's always some cassettes there, and that's what I'll do. I'll just scroll, like, fan through them, and then either the name will catch my attention, the art on the actual cassette case will catch my attention, and then I'll pick it up. That's what happened with Juice Newton. I just the turquoise color of it caught my attention, and I picked it up, and I was like, bro, she's aura farming on this cover. I need to pick it up. Didn't know who she was. I didn't know what kind of music it was. I just picked it up, and I actually really like that album. I highly recommend that album too. Even if you don't like country, go peep it, because I think it's worth listening to. But yeah, that's what I do with cassettes. I kind of just go in blind, because that's another thing too. Whenever you like are really into something, like in this case music, you're gonna have your favorite genre, right? So if you just look for music in that genre, the collection process, even just listening to music, can get really boring. So that's why I go in just blind, and whatever catches my attention, I'll go ahead and pick it up. Does it always hit? No. But I think that's part of the whole journey. It's the same thing with like opening Pokemon packs. You're not always gonna get like a hit in them, but at least you've got the other cards, and like if you want to end up completing like a master set, or later down the line you're like, you know what, I want to start collecting like this specific Pokemon. You now have like that stuff to go back on and stuff like that. For vinyls, this one's kind of like a mixed bag also. I do sometimes pick up modern music for vinyls, but it's more so for the art. I don't really think all of the modern music vinyls that I have are like particularly good for wax,
Yeah.
but just the art I really like. Like for example, I mean, this one's a good album, but I feel like it's better like on CD or something like that. The Call Me If You Get Lost album, I have the special edition cover, which was like a fan art that Tyler had seen on, I think it was like Twitter or Instagram, whatever. He's like, "Yo, that's sick. Let me put it on the cover of this." So it's really cool. My favorite piece out of that, um, I don't want to say the obvious answer and the Liza P soundtrack, because that's probably just like recency biased. But there's a few that I like really enjoy. The Face My Fears vinyl, which is the opening thing for Kingdom Hearts 3. The art is super cool, and it has like all three versions. It has the Japanese version, the English version, and then a remix in there. So really cool. And I guess, because I'm trying to think of like older ones that I have, but that's the only one that comes to mind. Yes, I do have a vinyl record player. I actually play these, and I actually have a uh, cassette player. I do use these. That's why I collect them. I mean, if you collect them just to collect them, no shame. Because I mean, like I said, I don't be really reading the comics, and I just collect them for the art. Is what it is. But I highly recommend you pick up a cassette player. Like if you do collect cassettes, and if you do collect vinyls, picking up a vinyl player, even if it's like a cheap one to get you started. Because the music just feels a lot different, and it sounds a lot different, especially with the different mediums. And then CDs, I mean, I collect anything and everything. I would say my favorite CD that I have, probably the one that's been in the rotation the most, is the Baby Metal album, like the first album. Is it the most interesting? Probably not. But I just I don't know. That one's been like the one that always gets played like on road trips. At least used to get played on road trips. I don't have a CD player anymore in my car. Sadly, I don't know why they took that out. I mean, I guess it makes sense because not a lot of people like actually get physical media stuff anymore. Um, but that's all the music stuff for like movies and like TV shows. I would say the coolest looking one, at least, is the Scooby Doo collection. It came with like a little Funko keychain of Scooby, and this box is like a haunted mansion kind of thing, and it's like 3D. So when you open it up, it's the CDs, and then you have like all the characters, right? That you could see through the windows. It's a cool box, and I think that's why I like collecting the like actual CDs for uh like movies and TV shows because there's a lot of dope ones out there, and some it's really just like a steel book, but it comes with like prints and stuff. Like I have the Dark Knight one, the anniversary one, and it comes with prints uh from the different movies, which is really cool. That and then some of them come with the digital downloads. And I know that's like, who cares? We got streaming. I don't know. I feel like if you purchase something, it should be yours kind of thing. Like we see that being an issue with like games. I don't know if we've talked about it uh, before in a podcast, but I remember seeing, especially for I think it was like a Need for Speed game, where they were like, "Oh, we're gonna shut down the servers," kind of thing, and people are like, "Okay, cool. What about the people that bought the game?" They're like, "Ooh, tough." I don't know. It just I feel like if you buy something, it should be yours, kind of thing.
I
So
agree.
that's
Yeah.
why yeah. So that's why I gravitate towards physical media like that. But yeah, those would be like my like actual like collection things. I have a bunch of just like random stuff that I collect. Like I have a whole bunch of like VIP tags from concerts that I collect. Um, just random merch from artists and stuff. Like when I guess not specifically an artist, but Golfwang, Tyler's like streetwear brand. They collabed with Arizona, the tea company. I have one of the cans still. Like just random stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I have a random can too, and my next to my Funko Pops, it is actually when Naruto collabed with G Fuel. I have the G Fuel Naruto can, the Sage Mode one.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Uh, Speaking of something that's like weird that I don't collect anymore, obviously I mentioned it in podcasts before. I agree with you before I say it, but I'm actually gonna go back and say I agree with you about the media stuff. I think before, obviously, I said in the podcast before when I wanted to collect gaming stuff, I feel like it was always better to have like the game IRL. Like I miss
Yeah,
going to like GameStop when I was younger was like an actual thing that I like to do. Now I kind of like don't have to go there unless I need to go there for like I guess like to buy a controller or something, or maybe to like look for some pops or something or cards. But like
yeah,
GameStop's kind of like not what it used to be anymore. When I feel like back in the day, GameStop was kind of always like the main gaming thing, like between like going there to get games physically or like Game Informers. I used to sign up for the Game Informers being a membership thing. I have a bunch of those too. But yeah, stuff like that is kind of crazy. But the next thing I was to say before we move on to like what we're hunting, this is the weirdest thing I've totally forgot about until like right now talking about it. I remember, I don't know if it's just me, but most people like they don't change their wallet often. So for a while before
yeah.
the wallet I had this, before I had this wallet I have now, I had an old wallet that has nothing to do with the collecting part. But in that old wallet, for some reason, I used to keep movie tickets, and I had like a
Hell yeah.
fat stack of like movie tickets, and I had movie tickets from like the first Transformers all the way to like 2022 movies, and
That's
it
crazy.
was a fat stack of things. Like I had like the first Avengers on there, I had the Transformers movies, Fast and Furious, like just all kinds of like wide variety of movies, ranging from like I said like when 2000 like 15, 16 ish to like maybe even later than that, all the way up to like 2021, 2022 until I like chalked my wallet and had to change it, and they just didn't fit in the next one. But
Yeah.
I had like hella movie tickets in there for some reason. I don't know why I randomly
Hell
collected
yeah.
those.
JJ be doing that shit too. You talking about a fast stack? This boy got a library of movie tickets.
Yeah, I do think it's cool. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I had a bunch. Now I don't have them anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the things we are on the hunt for. This could be things that revolve around our collections. This will probably be the shortest topic, just because like I feel like there's not like well for me there's not a lot. I have them listed out here. All right, I thought about them for the we'll start with the comic ones because I feel like that one is the shortest answer. And you actually mentioned it earlier, and I was like, oh damn. But it is Transformers comics. I love the old style
Oh
animated
yeah.
Transformer comics. I
Yes,
really
sir.
love the way they look back on the cartoon. I watched a lot of the shows like Transformers Prime, Transformers, stuff like that. So I've never really got Transformers collectible media stuff. I was never like a person that collected like figures. I don't actually do the pops. But I do like the old cartoon stuff like that, and I want to do some of the older comics. I really love the old like '90s styles Transformers more than, the newer movie Transformer stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I want for the comics. I think for the next part we can go ahead and talk about the pop section. For the pops, like I said, I don't really collect pops all the time, so I'm kind of just waiting for a few. Some of the ones I am waiting for are obviously some of the new Harley Quinn ones. I am hunting for one, or specifically I want to do all these ones, but I don't have a place to put them. But even if I don't have a place to get the rest, I do want to get one specifically, and that is the San Diego exclusive Itachi Susanoo pop, which is like the 10-inch figure pop, or even maybe a little bigger than 10 inches. It might be like the large pops, but I want that pop. I am hunting for the last. If you guys know this, Street Sharks pop, which is like the knockoff, I guess, Ninja Turtle series that came out in the '90s, but instead of them being Ninja Turtles, they were 14 teenagers that turned into sharks. If you guys
Yup.
know that thing, that's just fire. I want the last one to that. And as far as my Pokemon cards now, I think the last thing that I want to collect in those, or the latest thing I want to collect, is to finish my Lucario collection. I collect all the English cards and a few Japanese ones, but I am like 7 or 8 cards away from being finished, and most of the ones that I am missing are the new ones. They're just mildly very expensive. I don't have the full art Mega, which is the one where he's fighting Venusaur, and I don't have the new gold one, which is about $400 or $300. But I am missing those, so those are probably what I'm mostly on the hunt for. That I really want to finish is the Lucario cards.
For sure, for sure. I don't really have a hunt for the Pokemon cards because, like I said, I don't really collect them anymore. I guess it would be really cool to get back my slab, like the same exact one. I'm not talking about a Tangiratina in a slab, like the same exact one, just for the memories. But really, just any Japanese. Um, I feel like it's a lot cheaper to get Japanese, but probably definitely a lot harder, especially if you're not going to the bigger card shows and just like local ones. Local ones, I've been to a couple. They don't really carry like any Japanese just because it doesn't move like that. Um, and I guess it makes sense because now that hobby is more of like how much money can I make rather than like, oh, I like collecting because I like the art or I like the specific mod or the specific artist kind of thing. But yeah, any Japanese, I guess like in specific would probably be any like Team Rocket esque mons. Doesn't necessarily have to be like a Destined Rivals or like the OG Team Rocket set, but just like mons that give off that kind of aura. Yeah, I mean like Scizor or like Gengar, just like those kinds of mons. That I think that'd be a cool idea, especially if you actually do collect like the Team Rocket sets to have that to accompany it would be pretty cool. Uh, for keychains, I mean, there's not really one out there that I'm like actively hunting. I guess it would be pretty cool to get all the Miku raincoat ones just to have the variety. But there's not one where it's like, oh, like I missed out on it. I wish I could like pick that up. Keychains are one of those things that are like everywhere and anywhere, and I kind of just pick them up because they catch my attention, and it's not really a specific like character or specific line kind of thing. Concert shirts, that's a like for for me, the hunt is more of like who do I want to go see, and then I can pick up the shirt kind of thing, rather than like, oh, so and so performed back in whatever year. I need that concert shirt kind of thing. So for me, somebody that I would like to see that I have not is Hikaru Uta. Talked about her a little bit when we were talking about the music episode. She's just like a really good voice, super like nostalgic just because of all the Kingdom Hearts themes. I did enter the lottery when she was going on tour for her science fiction album. Didn't win tickets, but I would love to go see her. So a concert shirt for her, that would probably be my hunt for sure. For physical media, for vinyls, I don't really have like a specific like album or something, but a Louis Prima album would be sick. And then for cassettes, I don't even really think this one's like a hard hunt. I just haven't seen it, but Doggy Style and cassette probably hit. So that for sure. CD wise, I don't really think there's anything CD wise that I would try and hunt for. So we could put that one on the shelf. For like movies slash TV shows, probably like a Spirited Away kind of thing. Like I don't know if they have a collector's edition or like a deluxe edition, something like that. But that would probably be the one, just because Spirited Away was the first Studio Ghibli movie that I was introduced to. I
Yeah.
love that movie, so that would be pretty cool to pick up.
Yeah, those are also things. I think it's crazy how you have like a, not like a, it's like a, not a quantity amount of things, but like quality of different things that you're dipped into. I think that's kind of sick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, the collections kind of just start because I like really like what like whatever it is. Like with Pokemon, it just happened to be that the sets that were coming out at that time, I really liked them. So then I started collecting the cards like that. And then for same thing for like the music stuff. I did grow up around like the Walkman and stuff. I never had one. I had a CD player, so I used to have like CDs that were 100% perfectly legally downloaded that I would listen to.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. But I never got into like cassettes and stuff. But when I first listened to something on cassette, I was like, yo, this is completely different. And the same thing happened when I started listening to Wax. It's different. It's slightly different every time, and I think that's why I like it, just because it adds that kind of thing. But yeah, it usually just stems from I really like either the first media that I got introduced to it, like with Pokemon, it was like the games kind of thing. So then I'm like, okay, let's explore like other venues, and then that's kind of just how it starts.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah,
It's kind of how I am with like the blind box things. I'm not really a blind box person, but then I seen the Kotsky ones and we went to Pop Mark and I was
yeah,
like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it.
yeah. That's the same thing happened to me with the Miku keychains. It was a blind box, and I was like, whatever. Well, we'll do it.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and hop into our last topic. And this last topic about the collectible stuff is either something we would want or could collect if we had the money, or just anything, or even if we don't have the money, has to do with money, just if you could. I'll go ahead and let you also on this one. You just finished also on this one. For me, um, there is I one is an honorable mention, and I feel like it would be cool just because I feel like everyone kind of dips into it sometimes. And that'd be like Lego. I think doing some sort of Lego collab set would be sick, even if it's just like one box or just to do it
Oh
or
yeah,
to collect a few of them. I mean, and display them. I think would be sick. I kind of get like not jealous, but like it's cool seeing when people have like shelves or displays full of a bunch of Lego sets. So that is
yeah,
one thing. But the next thing I think is what I would not be my own mentor. Would be something I really want to do, just because I think it would be sick for like a stream backdrop or just to have like in a gaming room, and that is replicas. I think 3D printing stuff is sick. I currently have Sasuke's sword from Naruto, But the thing I want to collect the most, I think, and I actually got this from this website as a gift to our friend Zerk, which is a replica of a Destiny gun, which is one of the hand cannons in Destiny. This website makes replicas of like Destiny, Halo, Call of Duty, zombies, stuff like that. So to get like replica guns, especially of Destiny, because Destiny was so much a part of my life. I think would be so sick. They have like a hella hand cannons for those of you guys who play Destiny. They have other weapons that are more expensive, but I just think if you play Destiny, you know that hand cannons are like the centerfold of hype. But they have like the round robin. You know, they have a lot of the Ace of Spades, including like the ornaments, Nation of Beast. You know, they have Palindrome, etc. I would just love to collect a wide variety of the weapon replicas and display them on the wall, along with other game things. I think like just I'm not only trying to tie it just to Destiny. I just want to get into replicas in general. Like I think it'd be sick to have like Sly Cooper's cane or like Ratchet and Clank, his Ratchet, or like any of like the Power Ranger helmets, stuff like that. Just 3D printing of game media stuff, I think would be sick. That's really what I want to get into next. It's more about just having the space to display them, but I think having replicas of certain things would be sick. I am for sure going to get a couple of Destiny hand cannons eventually, pretty soon. Even if I get one or two for now and then wait to keep collecting them, but I do want a few specifically that I know I want to get soon.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Um, for me, it would be one of two things, and it's one of two things because I feel like this first one that I'm going to talk about, it's like you kind of have like a finite amount. It'll make sense when I talk about it, which is like pivotal tech. And what I mean by that is like stuff like the Walkman or stuff like the PS2 or the iPod. Just tech that came out and just either revolutionized whatever it was trying to, you know, start or was a pivoting point and then completely like change the game after that. I think it'd be really cool not to just like have them to display, but like also like still use them. You know what I mean? For example, right now I have two different hibbies, which are like the iPod, um, but I have the Evangelion collection and then the Miku collection one. The Evangelion one, it's like the purple and it's super heavy. I love the weight to it. Um, and then when it boots up, it does like you know all that jazz from the anime. And then the Miku one, it's kind of designed like a cassette player, like it has the buttons on the side, like that. And when you boot it up, it actually has like Miku talking and stuff. And there's a bunch of widgets that they have on there that she's on there and like actually interacts when like you're doing stuff like raising the volume or like you're charging it, things like that. I don't know. I think it's really cool, and it also like comes back to like the physical media aspect. I know like the MP3 stuff, not like actual physical media. But even with MP3s and like WAV files, like you bought it, that's yours, kind of thing. Even though it's not like actually physical. Um, but that's why I think it's like kind of a finite thing because there's only so many things that you can buy that have already came out, right? And now we're kind of just like in this phase of like waiting to see if there's anything new that'll come out that'll like change the game, if that's even gonna be a thing, you know. Um, but the other thing is collector's editions for video games. This one I think is just never ending because you have all the stuff that's already been out, plus there's gonna be a plethora more of games that are gonna be coming out. But specifically collector's editions, because there's either like a specific like replica that comes with it or like some art books. There's region exclusive ones. So there's a lot to dabble in when it comes to that. So that would be pretty cool. Definitely one of the like pricier things, but I think it'd be pretty sick to just be able to like whip out, for example, all of the Arkham series collector's editions. That'd be pretty sick. So
No, I agree. That's actually something that I would, if I had the money to do, I would do too. There's some sick ones that like back in the day that I think obviously the older ones are better than the newer ones. Newer collector editions are
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like pretty general. You get a statue here and there sometimes. Um, I most of them are like just a statue still, but cover and some digital downloads. But like the older ones are kind of crazy. Like the BO2 care package one is sick. You open the care package and it has like the little um zombies refrigerator and like
yeah,
replica
yeah,
cans or bottles of all the things you can drink in the game. The ray gun, the hard book, like just, and then you have the actual care package, and that care package was
yeah,
like a little like uh you know little crate you can store things in after you take all the stuff out. So it's
yeah.
super sick, things like that. Obviously I have the Horizon one. I think those are sick. I think some of the older Assassin's Creed ones are sick. Um, I think the re-release of the collector's edition for the statues that went along with Elden Ring were super sick, like the Melania statue or stuff like that. Like all that kind of stuff, I think is sick. That is something that I would be super intrigued in doing as well. It's you know, something that, like I said, it's expensive. You have to have the money to do it, but most of these collection things to me are it's not about the money really. I think I can. It's affordable if you do it in portions. It's more about the
Yeah,
space to put things is where I'm at a difficulty with. Just having nowhere to put shit is crazy.
yeah, yeah. That's where I'm at now with like my figures, which is fine for me because I like changing up the at least the stuff around the setup. Like every now and then, like switching out the keyboard for a different keyboard that I have, switching out the figures and stuff, and like having a different theme every now and then. But it does get to a point where it's like I only got so much room for storage. I don't know if I can
Get more.
like get any more.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Not cause like I can't afford it no more. It's like I literally cannot put this anywhere anymore.
Yep, that is an everyday struggle for me as well. When I go to
Yeah.
buy stuff or think about things. But yeah, that is our collection part of the pod. I think just to round it up real quick, we can announce stuff going on with PlayStation again. We just talked about it recently in the last one with the controversy of possibly the exclusives going back to being PlayStation exclusives, and now they are doubling down on betting on themselves a little more by raising the prices again for PlayStation. They are going up for a regular PlayStation, a digital PlayStation, and the Pro. All of them have all been raised up again, making them more expensive to buy, which I am gonna give my opinion on, and I'll let him give his opinion on it too. But I just think it's kind of weird that they're raising their prices, especially with how hard it. I guess it makes sense with how hard it is to get the PC parts with everything going on, with CPUs and GPUs and sticks of RAMs and all these expensive parts for tariffs and stuff. I understand why they want to raise the price because they're for one making less PlayStations now, but if I'm gonna give an opinion on this, I have never really been the type of person that like mogs the other thing. Like if I'm not gonna be a PC elitist now that I fully play PC, even though I do think it has its benefits. I used to not I used to exaggerate how I thought the PC didn't have crazy benefits over PlayStation, which now I'm starting to see that it does. But I'm not the type of person that like shit on people who only play console. I just think now, if realistically, I used to think this comment didn't make sense, but now I just think it does make sense. If they're going to raise the price of a console and you know you're not getting a PlayStation 6 soon, and you know that, you know, there's going to be a handful of exclusive games on console that you might lose out on. I just think that if you're going to throw $800, $900 at something, you actually might as well just spend a little more on a PC. It's just going to last longer. It has the potential to be upgraded. If you look at it from a business standpoint, I guess, in a way, or a financial standpoint, it is better to spend more on a PC now than buy a console once because a PC will last you like could last you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years probably before realistically needing another upgrade. But in the future, when you go to upgrade your PC, hopefully the market, becomes less volatile and more affordable. It'll be way cheaper to spend $300, $200 on upgrading some parts on your PC than it would be buying the whole next console or spending another $800, $900 on console. Because the thing with console is I don't think the prices are going to drop because they just are always expensive when they come out the next time. And technically, like I said, it just doesn't make that much sense right now to make to spend that much money on a PS5. A PS5 is just outdated at this point, or not outdated, but it's in the middle of its lifespan. And that was okay having a PS4 for way longer than you should, because you knew the PS5 was coming out. But like now we have no idea whether there'll be a PlayStation 6 or not. So realistically, if you have a PlayStation, this problem doesn't matter to you. If you're someone who's looking to upgrade from, you know, a PS4, or you want to like just switch to Switch, like if you have an Xbox and you want to maybe switch to PlayStation or switch to PC, I just think switching to PC is the move right now. I just think switching to PS5 for a single exclusive is just not the greatest idea right now, especially when there's only a few games that are going to be exclusive to the PlayStation, and it would be better if we knew games like Wolverine and stuff were going to be only on PlayStation. I know going forward, the ones after those ones, like the next ones that are getting announced, will for sure only be PlayStation. But I would try to do research on the games that you're trying to play, make sure that they're really only going to be on PlayStation before you make a decision.
Hey, me, I don't care. PlayStation all day, baby, and I have a PC. I don't care. It's at the top, baby. I mean, really, it's just based off of preference. But um, to me, it makes sense why they raised it. It's just supply and demand. People want the new PlayStation. They're not gonna get it, so their next best option is the PS5. It's just a smart move on their part. I mean, I don't know if that's why they raised the price, and not like what you said with like price of like tariffs and getting the different components and stuff, and they're finally like, okay, we should probably raise the price because this is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. um it's a smart move, so I can see why they did it. But I mean, you don't really need a new one. Just get a refurbished one. You know what I mean? It's the same shit. It just not new. You might not like get the box or something, but in
That's a really
reality,
good
you
option.
don't even like, yeah, like in reality, you really just need the console kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I can see why people fight for PC and the PC master race kind of thing. Um, just because it's a lot easier to upgrade. You know what I mean? You don't have to upgrade everything at one time. If there's one part of the PC that's kind of holding everything back, you could just upgrade that one piece and then you're good. You're not really like feeling the need to have to upgrade everything that you can possibly upgrade within the case, right? Um, because once you upgrade that one piece, then you can see like, okay, now does anything else hold it back, or does everything else like level out, or is there something that's like, I can see this becoming a problem later on though, and not like right now, that kind of thing. It also just depends on what it is that you're playing and how demanding the game is. Like if we're just talking about games, I use my PC really just for editing and stuff. So I understand like that aspect of it, but like the gaming aspect, there's some games that like take a toll on PC. And this is with like the most like new and up to date parts on like everything within the case. You can have like the best everything and PC still be struggling with some of these games nowadays. Um,
Unreal
but
Engine 5 games specifically
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
play good on console or PC. I mean,
yeah, yeah. So you know what I mean? Like it, like you said, there's pros and cons to all of them. You know, not just PC and Xbox, but all the other consoles and stuff like that. Um, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like super wanting uh, a PS6 or like the next gen for consoles. For me, I'm more concerned about like getting the quality up of the games that we're getting. And when I mean quality, I don't mean like the graphics and that kind of stuff. Just like the longevity of games. I feel like games nowadays, I don't really feel the need to go back and play them again, like older games. I don't know if it's just because of nostalgia kind of thing, or like, oh, I can't get this game on the newest gen, or it's not like backwards compatible, that kind of thing. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's something to deal with that, but I really do like whenever I get an itch to play a game again, it's usually an older game and not anything new. So for me, I think it's good that they're holding off on it if we start improving that aspect of gaming. But yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, like I said, I also agree with everything you said. Like I said, I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm a PC enthusiast either. I just think, that the price difference just makes a little sense. And I also am like you. I
Yeah,
don't know if the tariffs or the how hard it is to get parts to build the PS5 is what's making the PS5s cost more money. I have no idea. It could be like a smart business move, like you said, either or. But if you take the financial thing out, I'm gonna also agree with him on something. I think PC is if you don't know how to work a PC, it could be very intimidating. Two, games are sometimes not simply like you download the game and you play the game. A lot of games sometimes require you to do like runarounds with your Windows and your secure
yeah,
boot and things like that. If you're more of a simplistic person, like you want to just download the game, start to play, maybe you want to lower the resolution for some better competitive like gameplay, like if you're playing an online shoot or something. Super simple. You know, you open up your display, put everything on low graphics, you press play. PC has workarounds that aren't always as simple. Some games just completely fucking fry people's PCs. Like I said, like he just said, Unreal Engine games sometimes just optimize very, very, very poorly on PC. I think Monster Hunter for a while on PC was just really bad. Survival games on PC that aren't Minecraft can be harsh to people's PCs. I mean, some of the top of the line PCs can't run games like Ark because they just destroy people's consoles or PCs, and so you really optimize them with personal settings and third party apps. I agree with that. So if you don't know a lot about PCs, it can be a negative as well. I was only looking at it from the financial decision. I think if you don't have either, I think maybe spending a little more on PC just makes sense because you get a more variety of games. But that also depends on, like you said, like he said, I mean, the simplicity of what you want. Because I think couch play and sitting um, at your PlayStation and just hooking up two cords, turning it on, creating an account, buy
yeah,
the game, download the game, play. There's nothing past that. You're really just losing out on mods at that point. And it also depends on the target audience of what kind of games you guys are going to play. That's why I also said do your research. Um, but either way, I also just think the price raise is kind of ridiculous at this point. I just think the things that Sony are doing for price changes is a little bit harsh. But I
yeah, for
also
sure,
I also just think I could agree with him too. It could be smart because it is could also be like a supply and demand thing. I think because there is no PlayStation 6 now, more people are going to be intrigued to maybe buying a PlayStation for the exclusives coming out. But we'll have to see. I think all this actually also stems from just the exclusivity thing. I think if that ends up falling through and games are on every platform, PlayStation will just want to be a problem regardless of what you play. But we'll see.
for sure.
All right, guys. I think that is the end of the pod. We talked about a collection stuff. We gave you guys an update on the PlayStation and some gaming things. We want to continue to do that in our pods. We're gonna have, like I said, when there is themed pods, we will talk about whatever the topic is, and then if something crazy in the news happens, we will let you guys know. Or if something in our lives happens that we want to talk about, such as his Japan trip or something like that, we'll bring you guys all that kind of stuff. We'll keep you guys in the loop about what's going on with our channels. Um, we'll let you guys know about that kind of stuff. We'll continue to have guests. We'll continue to like make content for you guys. This is something that we want to continue to do. So if you guys enjoyed this pod and you guys made it this far in the pod, we really do appreciate you guys being a part of the night shift. So go ahead and if you guys want to participate, we'll have you guys drop maybe your favorite collectible item, a item that you're hunting, and then maybe you can say something that you would want to collect like us, or something that you could if you had the money, or you could do either or all three. Either way, we will interact with you guys in the comments below. Make sure you guys stay tuned to the channel. Every Friday we are uploading new episodes. If something happens, we will let you guys know if we can't make it a Friday or something like that. But other than that, like I said, every Friday, make sure you guys check out the channel. I'm gonna go ahead and let Shinobi do his outro, shout out all his platforms, and then I'll go ahead and shout out mine, and then we'll go ahead and hop out of here.
I don't like shouting out, but yeah, it's on there. YouTube, same name, Shinobi Radixan. Just appreciate y'all for tuning in, listening in, and even if y'all just have us in the background, I mean, to get you through like a shift or something, we appreciate it.
Yes, we do. We appreciate, like I said, everything. It's your boy Drift. Make sure you guys check out all the links in the description below. I go live on Twitch and make YouTube videos occasionally. I have a TikTok where I upload shorts. Make sure you guys check it all out. Drift Export and most things. Drift Export TV on Twitch. Everything will be in the link in the description below. We will see you guys in the next one. Peace.